Good afternoon. This is Regina Adams coming at you with another busted but blessed message. So, I'm not sure how this is going to bless somebody, but I pray it does. I also need to let you know that this is a warning. There's going to be things stated in this message that is not appropriate for children. I'm just letting you know now. And I have been wondering why I was given permission to speak on the things that were happening and other people were not given. And because what I experienced was far less than what they experienced. And because it was far less than what they experienced, I'm able to speak on it in a way that other people can understand and relate to better. This morning, I was listening, um, praying that, I thought today was the day that Loretta goes back to jail. And, I've been talking about my history and how I realize I've been stalked by her since 73. And we don't know her history. And what I have gathered over the years is that she moved to Simi Valley in 79. Um, and it's Loretta Rudd, not Loretta Jones. And remember, Bishop would always say, what's in a name? And to knowing the truth behind a name will help you to know the person. There's going to be a lot said. Again, this is a warning. So if you're not able to handle it, please don't watch it, because I'm telling you now, this is a warning. So when I have, when I, sorry, I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep going. I just need to hit some do not disturb, because I didn't do that before, because I know there's going to be a lot of distractions in this, and I need you guys to fully get this. So let me go back. When I said I wanted my husband to shut it down, Noel Jones, I wanted him to shut down the City of Refuge, because when you bless people at the level he was blessing people at, what happens is the same demonic spirit enters the vicinity of the people that are being blessed. And what happened was, because the demonic spirit was prepared before the people fully understood, she was able to attack mercilessly. She learned how to hack in '05 before she even became Preachers of LA in 2008. And the purpose of the hacking in '05 was so that way she could hack our paychecks, hack our bank accounts, hack everything, to force us to go back to the church to ask Bishop Jones for help, because she knew he was helping people. Now, before that even happened, back in 73, she was kidnapping children from royal families from around the world. So when you went back to the city and asked Bishop for help, and he helped you, the house you were in was kicked in, and you were held at gunpoint while your child was kidnapped and held at the back of the church on Gardena for everybody, to whoever she had in her crew, to come in and rape the children or the adults or whoever mercilessly. That's her history. That's why when I say shut down the church, I mean shut down the church, because she turned what was good into something negative to feed her human trafficking ring. And she operated in Bishop's weakness, either when he was extremely unavailable, when he was asleep, or when he was out of the country, or when he was doing whatever. And the issue was that when he came back to address the people, no one spoke up. Everybody was laden with fear. Everybody was so traumatized. This morning I heard somebody say, I still can't sleep at night because of the trauma. Now, one thing that people don't understand is the same way she invaded the city of refuge is the same way she invaded all of those people's lives who came in to attack. The same way you were harassed in that moment is the same way she harassed those people their entire lives. And even when you see the person that I had on the video a while ago threatening to kick in my door, wish he had brought his gun, because I posted that video, wishing he had brought his gun to hold me at gunpoint to continue this horrible event. And I thank God he gave me the strength to hold the door until the police came. Thank God he gave me the wisdom to scream fire, because in that house, the room we were staying in, I could hear the neighbors refer to that room as the rape room. That's the room that Patricia had her daughter in when her daughter was 16 and being a teenager, and had the doors unlocked and allowed several men to go into her own home to rape her daughter that was 16, to keep her under control, to take the life out of her for complete submission. When I say I want the place closed down, it's because the legacy that was great had been tainted to that of trauma. And the sad part is that the people that came into the city were Loretta's people. They were kings and queens when they went back home. So they're under diplomatic immunity, which they can't even be prosecuted for, and they have to deal with the trauma of what they've done. And the people here are still feeling the effects of the trauma of everything she's done. Her history, she should have never left Florida. Okay? I punched her in the church. I did. And after I did, I understood that even later that year, she had to go check herself into maximum security prison, and they still let her back out. And every Sunday she sits on stage as a wanted fugitive from Florida. She's not even supposed to be in the state of California. And the only other history we know about her is through a clip on Facebook. The hardest problem in dealing with a person like Loretta is every now and then you get bits of truth. But because she lies so much, you don't know what part is true and what part is not true. And then sometimes when it's the truth, it hits you so hard, because if you're walking in truth, you're able to recognize truth, because truth will hit you harder than you ever expected it to. And there was a post that I read that someone sent to me a few years ago about her house catching fire, and of course the story around it was she of course was trying to blame Bishop Jones for what she had done when he was never even a part of that, but it was another tactic to extort money. And that's what she does sitting next to him, is extorting money. And the sad part is that we as a people struggle in life. It's just what we do. And to have somebody that we knew we could go to count on for help, and then the help be turned into being held at gunpoint, raped mercilessly because of this woman who did the same thing to the people who she is using to attack the people of God. That's why I can ask, help them. That's why I can say, help them. Because I know that's the way she did it to them. And even though she's been terrorizing the city for the last 5-10 years, imagine being there back in the 70s and 80s when she showed up and having 30 and 40 years of terror being instilled in you because of who she had as her son, the position she gained, the foster children she raised, the tactics she used. Imagine having to go through that for 30 and 40 years. This morning I was praying to God that today would be the day that she goes back to jail, and I'm not sure if it is or not, but I was going to wait to post this, but I understand the importance of posting it now. You know, when she was a foster mother, I believe it was Loretta Rudd, as either Loretta Rudd or Loretta Stevenson, where she was a foster mother. And the children, she lost her job because of the house fire. And then she learned how to hack so that way she can start, once she got into the city, start hacking again, like I said, the paychecks. Now, what has happened to me is that she started hacking my paychecks, making my hours difficult for me to complete. When I go talk about my paycheck, it wasn't resolved. I resigned. The purpose of me the purpose of me resigning from my position, and then I went back to ask for my job back, and they said, no, we're going to let your resignation stand. That was another attempt for her to take me back to the city, for her to get me to go back to the city to ask for help. But I joined another church. I was given at another church. I knew if I went back to the city and I got into a place, I would be held at gunpoint and my daughter would be taken away from me. I knew that. That's why I never went back. And that's why I always try to warn people and to encourage people. Listen before you run any place. Let's listen to see if somebody has a backstory. After all of that we went through, I forgot to mention that she sent her son after us in Vegas, which is what brought us here to back to California. I was staying with my cousin. We were drugged, sexually assaulted, and then they recorded it. They recorded it, and she enjoys showing the attack of me every chance she gets. So that's her way of exposing when I was attacked. Okay, I was drugged. I don't drink. You guys haven't seen me pick up a drink, and the entire time she's hacked my phone, and the entire time she's hacked everything around me. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke weed. That's not my thing. That's never been my thing. To be a little bit more personal, I don't use condoms when they go back door because I'm allergic to them. Back door. Not only that, I'm allergic to KY jelly. So if I am willingly participating in a sexual event, I'm going to inform my partner of that in advance, because that takes me out of commission. So I would not allow someone to use certain condoms or certain things on me when I know I'm allergic to them. So when I talk about closing things down, when I talk about the abuse we've endured, when I talk about the trauma, I made up in my mind after I recognized what had happened, because I realized that my body was so filled with drugs that it was difficult for me to recognize what had happened until a day and a half later. That's how much we were pumped up with drugs. I was pumped up with drugs. It felt worse than an experience I had when I was going through chemotherapy and I had the 4-hour treatments where you guys know I have a port here. I had a port here. They would pump medicine into my body for 4 hours for the chemotherapy to kill the cancer in my body. And I felt worse the next day than I did after a 4-hour pump of chemotherapy. And I couldn't even understand why. Once I recognized why, I made up in my mind, I will never be a victim again. And that's what I wanted to tell you. My pastor, Charles Blake II, spoke a message this past Sunday. I'm not going to preach his message because it was phenomenal and it stands on its own. Go back and check it out. Go back and listen. Bottom line is, will a man be made whole? Your healing is based on your decision and your mindset that you want to heal and that you will never be a victim again. Because when you make up the mindset that you will never be a victim again, you will start developing certain spiritual instincts that will keep you from becoming a victim again. You know, when I was going through chemotherapy, which was extremely difficult, in our pamphlet, the book that they gave me, they said, laugh 10 minutes a day to keep from getting depressed. When you've been through this trauma that Loretta put these people through, there's no laughing. You're stuck in a mindset of fear. And every time the door rings, every time something happens, you're jumping. Most people aren't even sleeping at night because of the drama she brought, the trauma she brought with her. That's why I say close it down. And as I was listening to people in the spirit talk to me this morning, and my heart goes out to them, I had to give myself permission and give myself strength, build up my strength to be able to speak on this topic. And the word that you need to understand for today is that you can overcome whatever you've been through. You have to make up in your mind to not be a victim. Not only that, you have to refuse to allow yourself to be ashamed of what the devil has done to you. I will not accept responsibility because someone had 51 years of evil started before I was born. I will not take responsibility for the evilness she developed, created, and brought into my world before I was even born. I will not accept responsibility for that. I will not stay a victim of everything you crafted and created before I was born. I will not stay a victim of your ability and desire to want to cheat death and suck the life of the people who have a life because you spent your life traumatizing people. You always want grace, but you've never given grace to anybody. And I refuse to stay a victim of that. And because I've refused to stay a victim of that, I'm giving you permission to do the same. It's your choice. It's your mind. Make up your mind to no longer be a victim of the trauma that was meant to destroy you. And then we can continue to have a further conversation. You guys have a blessed day.